Hello YouTube, Joey here from Team Burning Infinity with yet another deck profile. I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while. A lot's been going on with the school year and I'm probably not going to be able to post very often, so I'm sorry for that. But I have an updated Star Dragon World deck profile, and I know I haven't done one of these since WCQ is back in August, I want to say. I don't even remember, I'm bad with dates. But yeah, let's bring this to you. Star Dragon World deck profile. Man, this deck has changed. And Sideboard too, because Sideboard's changed a lot as well. And Sideboard's pretty important for this deck. So let's jump straight into the main deck. The flag is Star Dragon World, obviously, since that's the world we play. And the buddy has remained the same, Rainbow Vision Shadow Scare. It'll probably be changing to Jackknife soon, because Jackknife's my favorite card in the deck. 6/2/1 vanilla. Great card, and you almost always play it, so it's not a bad buddy option. Let's jump straight into the size 1s. So for size 1s, we play 2 Dragon Arms Cavalier. He is a 4/2/1 Dragon Arms. He has the ability to cross knights just like every other Dragon Arms, which is when this card is on the field, you may put into the soul of a Neo Dragon. So that's really good because it allows it to give the ability of Penetrate when it's in the soul of a Neo Dragon. And everyone loves Penetrate, so that's really nice to have. 2 of those, because we could get it back on Wormhole and stuff. 2 Dragon Arms Winchester. Winchester's 3/2/1 cross knights, obviously. Size 1. He has the ability. He gives the Neo Dragon that he's in the soul of the ability to destroy an item whenever it would deal damage. So comboing this with Penetrate against things like Danger World, Hero World, and whatnot is great, extremely useful, and it helps a lot. So definitely at least 2 of. And then probably the MVP Dragon Arms of the deck, because this card just makes so many combos and so many important combos for the deck. 3 copies of Dragon Arms Divisigator is a 3/1/5 Dragon Arms with the ability to give a Neo Dragon that's in the soul of plus 2,000 defense, and giving anything with Soul Guard extra defense is extremely useful in this deck. Extremely. So, without a doubt, you could play 4 if you're really insane. I would just consider siding 4th, but I decided not to for many other reasons. Definitely important. Really good card. And if you're playing any variant of Defensive Dragon World, at least a 2 of. That's all I'm going to say. This card's done spectacular in all the testing I've done. I will not be able to go to the MBCS, fortunately, and that's why I'm posting deck profile. I probably should have said this beforehand. But yeah, this card has helped so much, and it's probably one of the key cards in the deck. And then 4 copies of our buddy 6/2/1 vanilla. Really useful Rainbow Vision Shadow Scare. Typical monster, but helps a lot. That is it for the size 1 lineup. We play 11 size 1s. Getting into the size 2s now. Playing 2 copies of Dragon Arms and Ogre Cannon. 4/2/5 Dragon Arms, size 2. And when this card's in Soul Neo Dragon, give that Neo Dragon plus 2,000 power and the extra critical. I will say this no matter how many deck profiles I do with this deck. The extra 2,000 power is extremely important, and a lot of people don't realize that. They don't even realize it gives power. And that is extremely huge. It stops you from link attacking a lot of things. So never forget the extra 2,000 power. And it does change up a lot of your plays when you're in defensive versus defensive deck. So never ever forget it gives plus 2,000 power. The extra critical is always nice too. And worst case scenario, you just do it in something like a Shadow Scare, if you really need to. 8k beater for size 1 is not bad, but extremely vulnerable to counter removal, so don't forget about that. Next size 2, 2 copies of Giant Star Lightning. This is Budget Jack, as I've said all the things I've done before. 6/3/6, pay 2 gauge, put top card of your deck into the soul, and he has Soul Guard. He's a great card. He's got 6k power, 3 criticals, and 6k defense. He's got the stats that I want Jack to have, but I don't like the call cost, so it's only why I really play 2. Soul Guard's really useful in this deck, as I said. The Divisigator makes this card amazing. Cavalier helps this card a lot. Winchester, all the Dragon Arms obviously do their thing for him. But what I like about him is stats and the fact that you could drop it and get a Soul Guard without a monster and drop, which always helps sometimes. Also, if I can't get Jack, I have this at least, so it's just as good in most scenarios. And then, for the all-star of the deck, Star Guardian Jackknife, 4 copies, because he is the all-star. I need a buddy rare for my buddy. He is a 5/3/6. Pay 1 gauge, call cost, and when he enters the field, you put 1 card from your one monster from your drop zone into his soul, not 1 card, because if you grab spells and stuff, that would completely change how this card can be played. And he has the Soul Guard ability. So, Jack is a vicious beast that can tear souls apart if he gets a lot of soul. I'm going to say that right now. This card is absolutely ridiculous. He can gain a lot of abilities from the Dragon Arms, and it's extremely easy to put Elgar Cannon in here, which helps him a lot. And I mean a lot. Making him a 7,000 is a big thing, because the difference from 5 to 6 to 7 is probably the biggest difference in the 1,000 power or defense in this game, because from hitting 5 to hitting 6 is really big, and from hitting 6 to hitting 7 is really big, no matter how you see it. From hitting 5 to hitting 6, you can hit things like El Del Diablos, and itself, lightning, a lot of things. Hitting 5, you could hit all the drums, you could hit Kaisarians, so really nice and whatnot, but hitting 6 is a big deal. And if you could hit 7, you could practically hit anything relevant in this game. Kaisarian, Force Arms, himself, Full Burst, Greason, Lightning, Samil Apocalypse, Grey Bard, everything. So, every big wall, this thing can hit with Elgar Cannon, basically, except maybe, oh, hitting 7. You can also hit Yami-Geto. That's extremely important. I forgot to mention that, because that was probably why I threw him in the deck in the first place. When this deck first came out, I tried building it without this uber expensive card. As I said, I was trying to keep him 2-3 of. This card is essential. This is definitely a 4 from the deck. When I first built the deck and tested it, 100 demons were kicking my ass way too easily. One reason, Yami-Geto is a card. When you can't hit a 7k wall because you're standing on this thing, it hurts a lot. When you are unable to hit a 7k wall because you were standing on this thing, it hurts a lot. So, you want to run at least 3 to 4 Jacks, or at least 3 to 4 Lightnings. And always make sure you have Elgar Cannons in your deck, because this card helps a lot. So, that's it for the size 2s, and I cannot stress out how important Jackknife is to the deck. And speaking of Jackknife, we have the other form in the deck. 2 copies of Star Guardian Jackknife Full Burst. He is a great standalone card. He is 7/2/6, has the Penetrate ability, has Soul Guard. His call cost is pay 2 gauge and put a card from your drop zone into the soul, so you must have at least 1 card in the drop zone before you pay his call cost. And also, he has the counteract ability of paying 1 life to destroy a monster with 4,000 or less power. And obviously, it's like Thunderstorm and everything else, where you don't need any viable target to pay a life. So if you're at 6, you want to pay 1 to plant memory and draw a bunch of cards, that is always a play. Really good card, and it helps the deck a lot, but I do not think it's a 4 of, because there are some things that 1 attack can't do, and I'm not playing items or anything, so it's literally, if I drop this, I'm sitting on this. But this is really here for things like Kaisarian, stop that for a bit, if need be. So things like Kaisarian, Darkness Dragon Worlds, Grey Bards, well actually no, because this thing would get destroyed by Grey Bard, that would be a lie. Force Arms is a big one. And it works a lot with your counter spells if you put the Visigator in this thing as a wall. It's an answer to Yami-Geto's, all of the forms. If you place him, go for Yami-Geto. If you're playing real life, Evil Deity Resurrection, 100 Thunders comes out, and current Great Fiend Yami-Geto we have right now. And also answers most of the size 3s that 100 Demons have, and 100 Demons is a really relevant deck no matter what you say right now. Now and after 100 Thunders, but more so after 100 Thunders. So then, we play 3 copies of Cosmic Storm, Greason ZK. He is a 9/7, pay 3 gauge, look at the top 3 cards, put 1 to his soul and send the other 2 to the drop zone. He has double attack and soul guard. Usually it's not too hard to get a Dragon Arms and a soul, but if you don't, it's not a big deal, because 9/7 with soul guard and double attack helps a lot, and that 9k power is atrocious. You can basically run over anything and everything. And if you get an Elgar Cannon in here, it becomes 11,000. That's just scary, so let's not even start that. Also, just having such a big wall does hurt a lot of matchups, because you could use your counter spells and absolutely destroy them at times, and at other times you just fall apart because you can't draw into anything. and you get penetrated for about 10. So you gotta play your cards carefully in this deck, but it is without a doubt the best size 3 in my opinion right now, and you want to play it in most Star Dragon World decks. Going into the spells, we play 2 Grimoire Clones, Planet Memory. I'm not going to go over Grimoire Clone because it's ridiculous. 2 copies of Dragon Arms Factory. I ended up adding this to the deck after a lot of trial and error because I need the early game draw power and also mid game draw power when you can't draw into Planet Memory because you either charged it or it just was in your starting gauge or it's just somewhere in your deck. Discard Dragon Arms for the cast cost and then draw 2 cards. Drawing 2 cards is really helpful. It's a break even, but you know what? It gets rid of dead cards in your hand. You could reuse Dragon Arms if need be. Then, play 3 copies of Bear called Barret. Pay 1 gauge, hidden crossbow. It's really good. 3 copies of Sun Wormhole. This card's absolutely ridiculous in this variant because it is a control variant, hands down. This is uber control deck, and this card gets your monsters back really easily. Especially when you start guarding a lot and you don't need to waste gauge, you can build up the gauge needed to call for just about anything. And most of the time you'll be calling things like a Dragon Arm, like a Divisigator, or a Dragon Arms you need, maybe a Shadow Scare or a Jack. Occasionally you call Lightning, that's about it. Most of the time you're calling Jack with this card because Jack, basically invulnerable Jack is ridiculous. Pay 1 gauge, and it has 2 abilities. Actually, I should probably go back on this for a second because the 2 abilities are rather important. The first one is a non-counter ability where you could call a size 2 or less monster from your drop zone by paying its call cost. And the second one is a counter ability where you call a size 1 or less monster from your hand by paying its call cost. And the counter helps a lot because it avoids double penetrate, high spectral strike numbers, and things like that. Especially against a deck like this, you need to avoid those things a lot. Next, we have 4 Proto Barriers because fake Blue Dragon Shield Clone. And next, we have 4 Earth Barriers because fake Green Dragon Shield Clone. They're still really good cards. They nullify attacks. Anything that's attacking you directly can be nullified. And you gain life or a gauge depending on which one. Earth Barrier gives you a life. Proto Barrier gives you a gauge. They do work on Shadow Dive when you have a close center, but they can't stop your monsters from being attacked, and that's a really unfortunate thing. On to the next spells. Drago Energy Clones, because everyone loves these. Basically, for the Drago Energy Clone for this deck, it's probably the most ridiculous card in this deck, aside from Jack and Greason. Any Neo Dragon gets plus 3,000, plus 2,000 counterattack, and that makes some of your things impenetrable walls that cannot be broken down ever, because some people just can't hit those numbers for their life, and they cry. And anything that can, you take it away from them, it hurts them a lot unless they waste cards. And then, because defensive worked so well at regionals, and it continues to work so well in my testing, we play 4 copies of this ridiculous card, Fortune Shield. Because, you know what? Don't let them hit anything, especially when you have 10,000 defense Jackknife on standard. You play this, it becomes 12,000. Not many things are hitting 12,000, I'm sorry to say it. It gives plus 2,000 defense and counterattack for the battle, and yeah. This card's pretty ridiculous. If only we had a Dark Energy, this deck would be complete. Nah, I'd play like 3 to 4 Dark Energies, because gauge. But MVP is definitely Jack, Divisigator, Greason, and the defensive cards. So that is it for the main deck. And I'm not going to lie, this card's been testing extremely well. And having 8 of them helps. Basically 8 Speculates or 8 Fortune Shields, whichever one you want to call the clone, helps a lot. Because I know they're not exact clones, but you know what? They do the same job. And they help a lot. I cannot stress that out. Because being able to block anything and everything helps. Sideboard. 2 Artilligers, Mirror Match, Penetrate out the ass, and things like that. Because, you know, let's destroy Variable Chord. Let's destroy 6 Soul Jack. Let's stop Double Penetrate. Let's stop a lot of things. That's what this is for. Also, extra Soul Guard Fighter for anything else, and worst case scenario, you just call on a field to 2 and a 1 or a 3, because it's a 0. Next, we have the 3rd Winchester for things like Hero World and Danger World. Tembu, because Board Wipe. These cards should be pretty standard. 6/3/6, pay 2 gauge. Answers to field, Board Wipe, all their monsters. 2 more Fulvers for things like Dungeon World, because Dungeon World's annoying. 1 of these for Purgatory Knights, Dungeon World, and anything else that has extremely low defense. And 3 of these because I don't like Iron and Ancient World, because that's all you play these on. You stop their searches, you stop their draw cards, and you stop things that... Oh, and Star. Because Star's annoying too. So, pretty much Iron, Ancient, and some Legend World decks. Because that's all you really need to stop the spells for. because those cards can be annoying. I mean, no one wants to be Frozen Starred. No one wants to be... No one wants to get Dragon Throned, I know that. No one wants to get Divine Dragon Creation when it's important. No one wants to let Makings of a Great Dragon go through. No one wants to let all this good stuff go through. So we play these and we stop them from getting anything. Also has Giant Star Lightning on the yard, so yay! Compliments my card in my deck. That is it for the deck profile. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any suggestions, ideas, comments, or thoughts on my deck, please leave them down in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Enjoy from Team Burning Infinity, signing out. Peace.